Okay, today we're going to be making a Greek key, and I'm going to use that Greek key to cover a wooden bowl. Now, by making a Greek key, I'm saying actually talking about a cane. I mean, a cane that looks like a Greek key. To give you an idea of what that is, let me bring up this image right here. Now, if that has come up, you will see at the top here, off the top, that's the pattern I'm going to try and put on the top of the bowl. But obviously, that's a repeating pattern, and I just need to take this one piece right here in the middle and make that as a cane. And then I can take slices of that cane and put them around my bowl, and it's going to look just like a really nice piece on the bowl. So back, so the way I did this was I took that Greek key and looked at it and thought initially I could take a strip of copper and a strip of black and just use those and make the key. But the more I got into looking at how to put that together, it occurred to me that I could do it just as a sequence of squares. So if you look at this particular piece right here, I've broken it out into just a bunch of squares. And these that have got a hash on them have to be black, and everything else needs to be in copper. And so if I do that, I've got the basic pattern for my cane, and I can reduce it and have what I need. So all I obviously need to do at this point is to make a bunch of these squares that are exactly square, put them together, and correctly, and I will have my Greek key. Now, obviously, I've got these things already cut. Let me give you a quick demonstration of how I did that, just so if there's anyone that has got a question about that, I can show you. Black clay here. Oh, and this black clay has been run through the phosphor machine on the thickest setting. So what I'm going to do is take it and fold it up in half, and now it's just about an eighth of an inch thick or so. But I need on this, I need a nice clean edge. And you can see this edge is really, really messed up. I'm coming in and cutting across there, but I've got a nice clean edge. I've got a very straight edge here. And now then to make sure I get nice straight cuts, I've started playing this game where I take this stick and just put it against that block of clay and take another stick that is exactly the right width for my cut, so that now all my cuts will be uniform. And then I just cut along that back piece, making sure to keep my blade vertical. I then come in with my blade under that and see I get this piece that is nice and square. And then let me do that one more time from a different view. This goes up against there. This guy comes in right like that. And then it's cut right along there. I can take that piece away. My blade, I can pull that off. I wasn't very careful, but that's how I got all of these pieces. So that gave me all of these slices here. Now, as I'm starting this, I'm thinking there's another thing I need to mention. There are a wide variety of clays out there. I generally work with Primo myself. And if you're doing sculpting, doing a lot of work, jewelry making, it generally doesn't matter. You can use Sculpey, you can use Fimo, you can use several different clays and even mix them together. But when you make a cane, because you're going to start with something that's large and then make it a lot thinner and longer, because every clay behaves differently, you need to use the same clay all the way through your cane. So if I'm using Kato clay, I need to use Kato clay. or like I said, I use Primo. I like Primo. It's my favorite for a lot of reasons I won't go into. But whichever one you use, or if you use Fimo, and again, Fimo Classic is different from Fimo Soft. So again, if you use Fimo Soft, stick with Fimo Soft. If you start with Fimo Classic, go with Fimo Classic. Like I'm using Primo here, and I've got all of these guys, and it turns out they're about 4 inches long, and I need them to be about 2 inches long for what I'm doing. And yes, my copper, I had to add an inch to the end because I realized it was coming up just a little bit short when I was going to try and reduce it. Fortunately, I've got grids on my work surface, so I can go through and cut each of these in half. Sorry about taking some time to do this, but it will get us what we need. And I can probably do some of this as I move along, I think. But let me get it started here. And then we'll get started making the cane itself. Do that with some of the black. Some of the ends on this are messy. I'm not going to worry about that too much because we are going to trim the ends as we go along. Now, the pattern says I need 6 canes across the bottom. So I'm going to put 6 of these guys, 6 of the black across the bottom, and then 1 copper and 1 black. And watching me build a cane, I know is very tedious and boring, and I apologize, but it's the only way I can think to do this. So that will give me 2 of my canes. There's 4. I can see they're not exactly the same, so be just a little bit careful as I work with these. And I can use my sticks to kind of smush things together as I want to do. Okay, there's 6 of my black. I then need 1 copper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 7 black and then 1 copper. What I'm looking at is right across the bottom here. You can see I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 black and then 1 copper. So I need 1 more black. Thought I needed 6. I actually need 7. So there's 6, 7 black and 1 piece of copper. And since I'm making a cane, I need everything to be pressed together firmly. I'm going to push all these guys together, use my thumb to kind of help them smush together and stick. There are some gaps in this on the top. It's not too big an issue at this point. And that's kind of down. And yes, this end is ragged, but I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, that is the bottom layer. The next layer, let me turn my pattern around so I can see it. I need 1 black. I need, starting here, I need 1 black, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 copper, a black and a copper. So there's 1 black. 1, 2, 3. These copper got cut in half, but that's what it doesn't matter for the cane. As long as I'm reducing it, it will deal with it itself. There are 5 of those. Now I need 1 more black. This color to cut with a blade. And I've got to put one more copper in there. I am trying to keep the cut ends on one side and all the raggedy ends on the other. It'll make it easier when I do cleanup. Again, just pressing everything together so it's nice and consistent. Press down a little bit to make sure it goes together. And then I'm going to take this guy, pick him up, and I will put him on top of this piece. Again, I need to make sure everything lines up perfectly when I do that. And it's pretty clear. This is the tricky part of making a cane, getting everything to line up. So as I look at it, I can see it's not quite aligned right here. So I need to make an adjustment there. That's a little off. That piece is a little out. I'm going to go ahead and cut this in. So I got a clean cut. So you can see how things are looking. And that is just a little, you can see I'm a little off on this edge here. So I need to separate that and move it and squeeze it back together. And so that is the second layer of my cane in there. Now, the next layer is one black, one copper, three black, and more stuff. So I've got one black. There's one copper. I said three copper, so let me put another piece here. Put copper in there. Myself off screen. There's two. Here is copper number three. So now I have three coppers in there. I need one more black. There's one more black. Again, what am I doing? I've got one black, one copper, three black. Whoops, one black, one copper, three black. Getting myself out of sequence. Copper, black, copper. Okay, I need three blacks, not three coppers. So we're going to take these two guys out, set them aside for the moment. Since I need three blacks. This is why you've got a template so that you know what you're doing. Two black, black number three. There's black number three. Now I said it requires one copper, one copper, one more black, one more black, one black, one copper, three black, one copper, one black, and one more copper. Let me actually do something different. I'm going to take this guy and cut him, put him in there. And I'm going to press everything back together again, as I have been. Good news is we're halfway through the cane. And we get to put this guy on top. And again, check the alignment so that everything lines up the way it should. And I'm doing better this time because everything is lining up just almost exact. Move that guy a little bit, press him there. Get this in, cut the raggedy end off. And again, we're I think we're there. Okay, it's looking good. Rule number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One black, one copper, one black, one copper. One black, one copper. One black, one copper. Uh, one black, one copper, one copper, three black. And now I think it's one copper. Looks like one copper. I have one copper. I know this is boring, sorry. But this is some of the stuff you go through when you're making canes. There we go. Got that. I know I'm gonna cut that off, so let me just cut that off. Put that aside. Okay, and that's got to go on top that way. And make sure things are lining up. Things are not lining up. Sorry, folks, I've got something off. Oh, that's what happened. I got flipped over, which is why I've got a template. This guy needs to go that way. That's much better. Now I got to make sure I get everything aligned there. Make sure this side's aligned. It is. This guy goes on here. And again, you need to make sure everything is coming out the way it should. Because when you squeeze these things together, you don't exactly get them consistent. And for a good cane, I need everything to be consistent. So I've got, putting on my template, should have a column of copper here. I do that. Column of black there. I got that. Across the bottom, one copper. And you can see it's starting to take shape. I've got three blacks. I just did this one. One black, one copper, one black, and 5 copper. And set that there. You got one black. Got a little more on the screen. One black. Out of the way. One black and one copper. And put that in right there. One black, one copper. One more black. One more black. Five of the three of the 5 of the copper. 5 of the copper. That's what I said. Can't believe my own ears. My own ears. So there's the copper. One. Cut this guy in half. Two. 3. Take this guy, put him together. A little bit more. Okay. Let's cut 4 and number 5. And again, we do let's switch everything together and make sure it sticks together. Pressing down helps to keep things together. Trim the end so I can see what I've got to work with. That one came up a little short. I have to remember that when I start playing with it. And again, put things back together here. And you can see I'm need to press a little bit more in and do some adjustments so that I get these blacks lined up. Those guys lined up on that end. That looks good. When I look at this end, I can see that I need to just make some adjustments there. Okay. So layer 5. 1 black, 1 copper, and a whole and 6 blacks. Okay. 1 black, 1 copper, 1, 2, 4, 3. Here's number 3. Here is number 4. Like that one. One had a boo-boo on one end. There's going to be a problem in a bit. So I'm going to have to set him aside and make another black. Fortunately, I've got something that I was experimenting with. Sitting off to the side here. And 6. So that one again gets squished together. Press down. Get him off the tile. And it should go that way. If I did this exactly right, I've got a small problem on that end, so I'm going to trim him. Actually, I'm going to separate it out. There's a little bit of a edge on there that isn't going to work. I'm going to take that piece out. I'm going to take that piece out. Just haven't pushed together hard yet. I'm going to do that. And flip him over. Put the bad end on the bad end of the cane. Bring everything back together consistently. Come on, guys. We're doing a demo. Nothing ever works exactly the way it's supposed to. There we go. Put that together, get rid of the scrap. Make sure it's all down smooth. Pull it off the tile. And again, I want to make sure I get everything lined up the way it should be. And so it came out just about right. Take a cut off this end and get it reasonably square. And that's what that end looks like. You can see now the beginning of that Greek key. That's nice, a nice form for it. Now comes the fun. Because this guy has got to fit inside. And this is actually, he's given a block of wood and told I could turn it into a bowl. It turned out to be a Bartlett pear. If you know anything about Bartlett pear, next time I'm using pine. But I've got to get this guy small enough that it fits into that groove. So now comes the fun. So with Primo, I learned what I need to do is start gently squeezing in the middle and just put gentle pressure on it. And I'm squeezing with first one hand and then the other. And I'll start that and work towards the end. Start stretching it out. And it will, A, press everything together, and B, it will also squeeze out some of the air that has gotten trapped in there. Because I'm not perfect in how I get everything aligned, and my corners aren't exactly sharp. So things happen. So I'll start with doing that to reduce this cane and to make it smaller. Now I know a smart man would have done this ahead of time, but then you couldn't have seen me assemble this cane. And we wouldn't have had all that much fun. Besides that, seeing what it takes to reduce one of these canes is always informative, as you then begin to understand what's involved. What you need to plan for is you start working on it. Now, this cane was rectangular. It's 6 by 8. So I'm not too worried about getting it square, but I do need to make sure that I get the long direction reduced down to, or actually the short direction, the 6 direction, down to something that's going to fit inside my bowl. And I think, as you can see, it's starting to get a little bit longer. Now that it's moving a little bit, I can start pulling on it and doing other things to get it to move. Down to roll over it with a roller. This is Primo. If I was working with Kato clay, it turns out the best thing you can do to start with is to smack it on concrete for about 20 times. And it gets the clay to where it finally agrees to do whatever you want it to do. Primo just needs a little bit of pressure. When I work with Fimo, I find that warmth is a better trigger than pressure. It does respond somewhat to pressure, but the Fimo responds better to temperature. And so people with warm hands have got an advantage working with Fimo. But this thing is starting to reduce nicely. And start pulling on it. Trying to keep it fairly consistent as I go. Try to keep that image roughly the same, untouched. And check my, not near where I need to be yet, but let me see how I'm doing. Ooh, we're getting there. Keep looking for, probably buried it over here. Somewhere I've got a rolling pin that I've been using. I don't see it right off the bat. One thing I'm trying to do as I go is to make sure I keep this thing fairly consistent shape. I don't want it to get bumps and lumps in it, distorted in any way. And I'm trying really, really hard not to twist, which is easy to do. Actually, with a square cane or rectangular cane, you don't twist it that much. Some clean canes I made around, those can get really, really seriously ugly. You get a twist in them. Okay, keep trying to open up. Heel. There. Something with just a little bit. This will help keep it uniform. Well, same time giving it a little bit of reduction. There's always a little bit of distortion on the ends. Don't worry about that. We'll check that in a bit. I'm getting close to what I need. Let me see how we're doing here. Just a little bit more. Press on it this direction. Touch it. I think we're just about there. Okay, that should do it. That should put it inside that groove. A little bit of work and that'll fit. Yeah, I'm going to take it just a little bit farther. Stretch it just a little more in this dimension. Okay, that should be my cane. Now then to show you what it looks like, convince you that I really have done something that is what we want here. Just since I want this thing to be rectangular and I want it to fill in, and it's best if I get everything fairly uniform. And I've learned I need to make sharp corners on it. To do that, now that corner should be sharp. Let me cut off the end of this cane. See how we're doing. I got a little bit of a distortion there. A little more than I anticipated. That ends a little better. But you can see now I've got the beginnings of a nice Greek key. I think that's the way it goes. So all you need to do is then slice this thing. And if you know me, I am a terrible slicer. So I'm going to do this away from the camera. I'm going to do this where you can't see it. I can do it a little bit there. I need my slices to be about 1/8 of an inch, which again, with this tile, my background here, I can look down, slice down through there, and get slices that are about 1/8 of an inch. And if I look straight down on top of it, I can do a fairly good job of cutting straight down. Is my favorite trick to do is to actually cut it so that it's wider at the top than it is at the bottom. I can't see my cutting anymore, so I'm going to set these guys off to the side. That guy there, and cut some more. Okay. Now, I've actually done this experiment a few times, and I'm actually going to put the raw clay on the wood and then bake the whole piece. Uh, there's a lot of people that said you can't do that. I tried it. It works. For those that don't know, this clay bakes at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. Wood paper burns at 451. So I'm well under the flash point of paper. Wood takes even more heat. So I'm well within not hurting the wood as long as the wood is really dry. The wood is wet. When I start this, it's going to distort as it heats up, and that's going to then cause me problems. So make sure you're working with wood that is dry. Here's a product that I have now successfully lost called liquid clay. I'm using this, whoops, too much light. I'm using that liquid clay from Sculpey. It is pretty much clay that is liquid. That's the name. You can start this about anywhere. And if I can get it to start. Come on. Obviously, I need some new liquid clay. I'm going to put some on there. It will actually soak into the wood a little bit, as well as bonding to the clay when it's baked, so that it will give me a nice, actually serves a nice glue. I like it better than super glue because I can work with it. Super glue, I put it on here, and it just cures immediately, and I don't have any working time, and I need working time with what I'm doing. And yes, my tiles are sticking up above the edge, but that's okay. They're just a little bit large, which is good because it means they fit nicely. And when I put them in there and press down on the ends, push the corners together. It's a little hard to get everything into the camera. Sorry about that. But I can do that. And I keep coming around. As long as I've got some liquid clay down there under me, everything should work. Make sure I get these aligned correctly, because it doesn't make a great key if you don't get them aligned correctly. And with, again, with the liquid clay, I can slide things around just a little bit, which helps a lot. I can't see what I'm doing since I'm showing you what I'm doing. So I'm thinking I'm doing a fairly good job. Let me take a look here. Yeah, we're in good shape. I need a little bit of work on some of these seams. Fingernails are good for a lot of that. Fingernail your seams, and they'll go cure up real nice. Just seal them right up. Need more liquid clay. Just have to find a container of liquid clay. I have to watch that. I'm working with it. Keep putting these pieces on there. I figure it's going to take about 19 pieces to go around this whole thing. That's my estimate. The other thing you've got to make sure of when you're doing this is that you get the top and the bottom of the slice correctly oriented. I just realized I almost put the black side towards me instead of away from me, which is not good. The black side's got to go away from me. Now Anyway, just make sure you get them on there correctly. Because once they're baked, you're never going to do anything else. Another good advantage using liquid clay for your glue instead of super glue is you can always peel it up and put it on the other way around. More liquid clay there. Lay down that groove. Okay, that guy goes in. Whoops, that guy didn't go in. Now he's in. That guy goes in there. Those of you that know woodworking, please don't laugh at my bowl. It was nobody told me what Bartlett pear was like when you try to turn it. I was happy I was able to get it cut without destroying the tool. Those of you that don't know Bartlett pear, it turns out to be incredibly hard. At least this piece was, and did not want to cut, and so I had to continuously sharpen my tool just to keep it, just to get it to work. Piece goes in there. I want to do the whole thing on screen because I know there's going to be a problem when I get to the end. Because I haven't measured these, I don't know exactly how far around they're going to go, what's going to happen. And there is going to come a time at the end where I need to adjust pieces so that they will fit properly. And so with that, I'm going to then come in here and cut some more slices. For me, I find it helps if I look straight down on this thing and I get a smoother and more consistent slice. When I've set off to the side a little bit and sliced, they have never been right. Now, yes, some of these pieces are sticking up above the rim. Several of them are. I'm cutting them a little thicker than I need because once I've got them on here and got everything assembled and adjusted and trimmed up and sealed, you then come in and cut through, cut the excess off, and I will be okay. And so that one's got to go on that way. And it's a little thin, it's not too thin. I'm getting clay all over my fingers, which is causing me to stick to the tiles. I said that one side, I don't like it. That one seemed to have an air bubble in it. I'm not sure I like that air bubble in there. I might have been able to fix it, but I've got enough cane here. I don't need to worry about that. Nice seam. So I'm not going to bother trying to deal with air bubbles in my clay. Checking to make sure I got things oriented correctly. Okay. There's that. Get it down. Got some more space out there. Upside down. Always check to make sure you got it oriented correctly. Well, it's a nice, perfect cut. That guy goes in. If I ever cut one of these too thin, I'm just going to have to set it aside and make another cut, make another slice, and put another piece in there. Uh, there's, yeah, never mind. That's just the easiest way to do it. I've learned the hard way. Just cut another slice and put it in there. Okay, we're getting down near the fun. A little bit of clay on there, spread it out. More slices of this. Should have enough cane. A little thicker than I needed. With the liquid clay, though, I can slide him over into place, work the seams, and keep going. Whoops. I'm getting sloppy with my slices. Not good. As this guy came out thick on the top and thin on the bottom. The lesson I set aside was thick on the top and thin on the bottom and was not going to make it. Like I said, there are some things I can do to correct if I need to, but I'm hoping I've got enough cane here that I don't need to worry about that. I can control my slices better. I've got a little bit of a boo-boo here, but if I press my thumb, I'll get that sealed up, taken care of. Put those guys in. Some more slices. My reference and my template. Doing these correctly. That one's really thick. My eyeball must be going bad. I'm going to press him over and down and not bother to try and seal the seam. I'll come back to that in a minute. And here comes the challenge. This guy's in there. Oh, nice fit. Okay, that guy's in there. Notice this guy is just a little bit too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push a little bit on everybody. So I can push just a little bit this way, push a little bit on this side, back and push a little bit on that side, and get it to where it just kind of work him in there. A little more of a push here. Take this guy and push. I'm trying to mangle things. I can drag a little bit since it is just liquid clay underneath. I can do a little bit of a drag and make some space. But this is always the challenge, getting that last piece in there. And let's see how that goes. Okay. That should shoehorn in there. Get him in, down. Ah, got it. Okay. I'm going to work that seam up because he got really, really badly mangled. Check my corners, make sure the corners are good. I'm actually going to Okay, I'm going to take all kinds of round tools. I take this guy and roll him over it. Actually, I didn't want that. I actually need a roller, which I am not finding. Okay, plan B. To kind of press everything down, I'm going to roll it on a tile. I can feel things that aren't really smooth here, but we'll deal with that as we go. Okay, pretty much got everything down flat. I'm going to say there's stuff that's sticking up. The nice thing is it's still soft clay, so I can come in with my blade and just put it right against the wood and slice off the guys that are sticking up. You guys really sticking up. Going through there, get that blade flat. You can see some pieces that need a little bit of extra work here as I'm going. I'll come back and fix those later. Once in a while, I need to put a little piece of clay in some spot. I got a piece of clay on the backside of my blade that is causing me a problem. There we go. Got him off. Always make sure you're working with the sharp side of the blade against the clay. When you're doing this, I have a bad habit of using the sharp side of the blade against my finger. This is not good on fingers because these blades often are very sharp. But coming around near the end of it, about back to where we started. Okay, it's a little bit rough, but I can do a light sand on that after I bake it. For the most part, I've got it down. I'm going to check it out, make sure there's not anything that needs a little work before I bake it. And trimmed up a little bit. That's in there good. Again, needs a little trim. Let's see, I've got need to get all these excess pieces of clay off the bowl before I bake it. Got a little bit of a problem. I don't know if you can see it right here. There's a little hole in the clay. Need a piece of black in there to fill in that gap. Fortunately, all this stuff I cut off is now scrap clay. Lost my hole. Need something in there. Need a piece in here. Sculpey makes the clay stick to anything, including the blade you're using to cut the clay with. So just be cautious about doing that. All over my fingers. I've got him. That one's going to sand it off. That's good. That's good. Okay. One needs a little bit of touch up there on that corner. Cut him down. Okay, that's good. At this point, I'm happy with the bowl. Happy with the job I've done. I'm going to bake this guy. Look at that. I've done this before. I've done it a few times. So that I know that it's not going to hurt the wood. So this wood is incredibly dry. So that will come out fine. And once it's done, I will put some sort of a sealant on that, likely super glue, or I may use a Glade or a two-part epoxy resin. It'll depend upon how I feel at the time I'm doing that. So with that, uh, that's I'll have a picture of the final bowl when I finish up after it's been baked. I'll attach that at the end of this video. Uh, so with that, let me stop the recording. So there we go.